What's up, everyone? I hope you guys are having a great new comic book day today. I know I am. So I've missed putting out these videos for you guys. It's been about 2 weeks since I was able to do one. You guys already know Oklahoma and Texas and this whole Midwest area got hit with some bad weather, so all the books got delayed from Diamond. But today, I not only got February 24th's books, but I also got March 3rd, 2021's new comic book day books. So I've got 19 new issues in front of you, some of them obviously a week old, but I've compiled the top 10 books from the last 2 weeks, and I put them in a list together. So stick around to see who claims number one. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, AR Comics, and today I'm going to be going over February 24th and March 3rd, 2021's new comic book day books. I compiled my top 10 list of both weeks together, but before I get started on that, if you are new to the channel, I drop weekly comic book content that'll keep you up to date on all of the new comic book day releases. So if that sounds like something you do not want to miss out on, make sure you hit that subscribe button down low and the little bell to get notified. Every time I drop new content, you won't regret it. And now, without further ado, let's start going over these books. Alright, everyone, so as I was saying before, I picked up 19 issues between last week's and this week's new comic book day, and yes, I read them all in one sitting. I sat down, busted out 19 issues at one time. It was a lot to read, but I'm very confident with my top 10 list, and overall I thought all the books were pretty solid, except for a few. But this batch that I'm going to be going over first did not make the top 10 list, but I just want to go over which ones I did pick up. So first up, we have Marvel Voices Legacy number 1. I pretty much only picked this one up for the Miles Morales cover. I wasn't even expecting to grab it. I thought the issue itself was alright though. But next up, we have Two Moons. This is Image's brand new horror ongoing series. I didn't think it was very good. I don't think I'm going to be giving the second issue a shot. The artwork was okay. The story was alright as well. If you did like it though, let me know what you thought about it. Moving on, we have Marvel's brand new series, America Chavez number 1. This is cover A, and it's only a 5-issue mini run. I didn't really have high expectations for it. I wanted to read something with America Chavez in it, and the issue itself, it was very alright. It's exactly what I expected from Marvel. Next up, we've got Ice Cream Man number 23. This is cover B. I did really like this issue. I thought it was pretty solid, but there were so many books this week I had to read, it just didn't make the top 10 list. Next up, same thing. This is a brand new series from AWA Upshot. This is Chariot number 1. I love the artwork, and I actually really like the story itself. I wanted more out of a first issue, but I think they did a great job with it. But same thing as Ice Cream Man, just so many issues. This one couldn't make the top 10 list. But I do highly suggest reading it. Definitely pick this one up. Next up, we've got the Department of Truth, number 6. This is cover A. Honestly, I didn't really like this issue. I love the Department of Truth. I think every issue is pretty solid. This one had very off-the-wall art. I did not like the artwork at all. I thought it was a big turnoff to the story. And the issue itself, I think it is a brand new arc too. The issue was alright. The story was okay. Overall, it probably, if I only had a top 10 list with last week's, it would have been high on the list. And next up, we have Crossover number 4. This is cover A. And I don't know what it is. I'm just not really enjoying this series like I was hoping to be. I love the concept of the first issue. I thought the second issue progressed it fairly well. But issue 3, I expected a little bit more and nothing happened. And same thing, we're on issue 4 now, and I'm still just not really enjoying it. If you're really digging Crossover, let me know what you think about it. Now, we have up next Captain Marvel number 26. This is cover A. I know in my previews video I said I think this is going to be the last issue of Captain Marvel if I don't really enjoy it. And I didn't really enjoy this issue, so I think I am going to be pulling it from my pull list. And now the final issue from this batch of books is going to be Amazing Spider-Man number 60. This is cover A. And real quick, I just wanted to say that none of these issues were in any particular order. And also, surprise, surprise, Amazing Spider-Man did not make the top 10 list. And overall, I really didn't enjoy this one either. So now let's move on to the real list. So those were all the issues that did not make the cut this week. Now moving on to the real top 10 list. I'm going to try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, but you guys know, getting excited talking about some of these books, spoilers could happen, so just be careful of that. So coming in at number 10 this week, we have Firepower, number 9. And just when I was thinking that I was moving away from this series, not really enjoying it as much as I used to, this issue pulled me right back in. I'm still sticking to it though. I feel like this series does have bad pacing issues, but this one was a little bit better. Had had a little bit of action, had a lot of dialogue, and it was really plot driven. Really progressed the story, and they're kind of gearing up for this big war in the coming issues, so I feel like it's probably going to be very action packed in these next couple. But the ending, though, we didn't really learn a lot about that character that they introduced at the end of the last issue, and we didn't see too much going on with that character in this issue, but they did bring a character in at the end of the issue. I'm not going to say the name, but it's someone that we didn't think was going to be around, and now this kind of changes how the rest of this series is going to go, in my opinion. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with that character and just kind of how they implement that into the overall family dynamic. I'm really interested in that portion of it. You know what I'm talking about if you're reading this series. Let me know what you think about it down low, but for those reasons, coming in at number 10. And up next, we've got coming in at number 9, Star Wars, The High Republic, number 3. This is cover A, and I am really enjoying this series so far. I don't know if it's because I'm on a Star Wars kick, I'm rewatching the old movies, and I'm starting to reread some of the older stuff too, but this story just feels so fresh and different compared to some of these other ones. I'm loving this new Jedi. They're doing a great job with her and her personality, but the one really cool thing about this series so far, and especially this issue we see it the most, is that she's kind of doubting herself. She doesn't fit in with a lot of these other Jedis and how they talk and their personalities, and she's just not really sure of what she should be doing, or if she's even doing the right thing. And you see that with one of the characters she's with in this issue too. He's kind of asking the questions like, hey, shouldn't you be doing this, or shouldn't you already know this? And she's like, yeah, I'm good. But then you see her kind of have this monologue with herself like, you come on, you got this, you can do this. And then towards the end of the issue, which we're kind of been dealing with the last issue too, they bring in a new threat. And that's a pretty cool threat. I'm not going to spoil everything, but it deals with the dark side and how the dark side may be expanding or kind of controlling other people. I don't know. I really was enjoying this issue. So for those reasons, coming in at number 9. And now we have coming in at number 8, Star Wars, The High Republic Adventures, number 2. Same thing, I'm really enjoying this too. The only difference is I feel like this one's kind of geared more towards kids, but I'm putting this one at number 8 compared to the Star Wars regular High Republic, that's Marvel's version, this is IDW's, is that this one was very action-packed the whole time, and I like the dynamic that they're doing with all the different characters. They brought in Master Yoda, and this one's dealing with more of the young Padawans, and then some of the characters that they're introducing as well are all kids too. So that's why I'm saying this one is kind of more geared towards kids. But overall, so far, I kind of like this story a little bit more. We see these brand new characters together from the last issue, and they're not brothers or sisters, but they got brought together, and the planet that they're on, they can't really use the Force. People don't want them using it, and the one girl, she has these powers, and the other kid was like, oh, you've been hiding this from me my whole life, and then you see them go away from each other. And overall, I thought the story was pretty cool. I know not a lot of people have been reading this one. For the most part, I feel like most people I see that buy this series is trying to flip it because there's a lot of first appearances in the first issue. I don't know. I'm all about reading these comic books, and I thought this was a pretty solid story. Let me know what you thought about it down low, but for those reasons, coming in at number 8. And next up, coming in at number 7, we have The Scumbag, number 5. This is cover A, and this is also the end of the arc. I thought they did a great job with it, too. In my opinion, if they come out with a trade paperback of this, I would totally pick that up. I wouldn't worry about these single issues anymore. While I do think the story is very good, and I thought this issue was good, I feel like it's better read in the trade paperback. They're kind of sporadic. There's not a whole lot of stuff that happens in some of these issues, but then other ones, something big kind of does happen. But as I was saying, I think they did a great job wrapping this one up. They did introduce what feels like a couple new things towards the end of the issue, and our man Ernie over here, he kind of had like a self-realization towards the end of the issue, and I thought that was really cool too. But overall, this one was mainly action-packed. It was pretty much entirely action-packed. And you kind of saw what Ernie was up to in the last issue that they didn't really hit on because they were too busy showing his partner the entire time. But I don't know if you guys noticed this too. So I always feel like I said, I think the artwork's pretty solid, but I feel like the other issue was better. They've had a different artist on every single issue so far, and someone brought that to my attention. I didn't even notice it. But as I was saying, overall, pretty solid series. If you missed out on the first earlier issues, I highly suggest just waiting for a trade paperback. Don't worry about these single issues, but for those reasons, coming in at number 7. So now we've got coming in at number 6, Stray Dogs, number 1. This is cover A. Sadly, I couldn't get that Silence of the Lambs movie variant. I think it was cover B. But man, this issue was a real surprise. It was so Good. That must mean these top 5 are real good then. But as far as this one goes, I really didn't know what to expect from it. I read the previews. It said Lady and the Tramp, I think, meets Silence of the Lambs. And I thought, you know what, I definitely have to pick it up. But this whole issue is literally all about dogs, but they bring in a really cool horror aspect to it. So this is definitely going to be spoilers. So if you don't want to hear anything really about this book, just move on to number 5. But so this one kind of was like, the main character, which is a dog, was kind of scared this whole time. They're trying to hit on that dogs don't really have that great of a memory, but at some point she remembered. She thinks that her main owner got killed by her new current owner, and that's why this owner now has all these different dogs. So it kind of turns into like a murder mystery type thing, and I don't know. The issue itself kind of blew my mind, and I highly suggest reading this one. I know a lot of people picked it up, but I didn't really see a lot of people actually talking about the issue itself because everyone pretty much just had that movie variant. But if you did read this, let's talk about this one down low. I loved everything about it, especially the artwork too. It fit very well with the story, but for those reasons, coming in at number 6. And now we're down to the top 5 issues of the week. Coming in at number 5, we have Year Zero, number 4. And what can I say that I haven't already said about this series? I love everything about it. The artwork is incredible. The story and just character development is so good. And this one was very action-packed. They're kind of past telling the story and developing these characters, and now kind of all these characters are set in motion, and they're doing what their purpose is, I guess. They've all established what they have to do within these last couple issues, and now they've moved on. They're doing their thing. Overall, I would have put it higher on the list, but because I do love this series that much, and realistically nothing major did happen, they're probably going to be wrapping everything up in the next issue. I had to put it in at number 5, but overall, this is something I tell everybody. You need to be reading Year Zero. It is that good. Be on the lookout for that first trade paperback, and after they release the next issue, I'm sure there's going to be another one coming. So for those reasons, coming in at number 5. And next up on the list, coming in at number 4, we have Casual Fling, number 2. This is from AWA Upshot, and I'm loving everything about this series so far, even though it's only 2 issues deep. Obviously, my favorite one is still always going to be Year Zero from them, but this one is giving them a good run for their money. This artwork is great, but the storytelling is what really makes it. Despite it only being 2 issues deep so far, I feel so invested in these characters. They're very well developed. The story is very well developed. The pacing is on point, and this is something I'm recommending to everybody that you definitely need to be reading. I think they're going to do a good job with wrapping it up too. It's 2 out of 4 issues so far. I don't think they're going to be extending this one because the story itself, they've developed the characters, they developed the plot all within 2 issues. And it's to the point where, like I was saying, I feel very invested in them. If you are reading this one, let me know what you think about it down below because I would love to talk about it. Coming in at number 4, Casual Fling, number 2. And now we're down to the top 3 issues of the week. And let me tell you, these 3 were very hard to put in order for you. But coming in at number 3, we have Something's Killing the Children, number 15. And I love this cover, and I think it suits the issue very well. But before I get into this issue, if you are interested in reading this series, please do not buy this on eBay right now. It's going for insane prices. I've seen some stuff sell literally close to $1,000 just for these 15 issues. Yes, there was variants in there and extra printings, but still, some of these single issues are going for a ton of money. There are 2 trade paperbacks out right now, and the third one I'm sure is coming out very soon. So you do have an opportunity to read this. Don't be fooled for eBay prices. But as far as this issue goes, like I was saying, it is the end of the arc, and I think they did an incredible job wrapping it all up. We saw the town, I believe it's called Archer. They all got closure. Tommy, he still wants to take the fall for all the murders, even though obviously it was monsters. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, maybe something happens, but then we get to see House of Slaughter and where they're going. But the cool thing was we got to see Erica kind of just be a hero, and then she interacted with a few different characters, and like I said, it was just a nice closure. And now, just like the cover is showing, she's off on a new adventure, and I cannot wait for the new issues to come out. I know they're taking a small hiatus. It's a few months, I think, but man, let them prepare for it. I am ready. Coming in at number 3, Something is Killing the Children. It's an absolute must read. And now we've got coming in at number 2, Boom Studios' newest series, Berserker, number 1, written by Keanu Reeves. This is cover A, and this was absolutely worth the hype and the wait. I love the artwork. While there wasn't a whole lot of dialogue and storytelling in this issue, I know they're going to be going somewhere with it, and I'm really looking forward to it. I don't want to talk about the story too much because, like I was saying, there wasn't a whole lot going on, and whatever I do say will be kind of a spoiler, but you just see the whole time Keanu Reeves being a straight up badass. There's so much action, there's blood, there's gore, and there's just a lot of fighting. And it's just like an action-packed movie the entire time. You see a little dialogue going back and forth. You don't know who he's talking to until the very end. And then towards the end is when they really dive into what's actually going on with this character. And like I said, I'm not going to spoil it because that would pretty much be the entire thing and where they're going with this series. But I do want to talk about this one down low. This was totally worth it. As I said, the hype was there. Berserker, #1. And this is it, coming in at #1. My top read of both new comic book days, we have Image's brand new series, Nocterra, #1. This is the cover B Jock variant. I love this cover, but it is nothing compared to this issue. This issue was incredible. I had no idea what I was getting into, and after reading it, it kind of reminded me of Gears of War, if you can remember that game from Xbox, specifically those levels where you had to stay in the light to survive, and if you didn't, these weird bats were going to come down and kill you. And that's kind of how this one was, slightly. So something happens to the Earth, and Noel comes, and the darkness takes over. I'm kidding. Donny Cates really didn't bring Noel into this issue, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen eventually. But either way, darkness took over the Earth, and it started changing everything. You couldn't stay in the darkness. You basically had to stay in the light. And then just flash forwards years later, and all this other stuff happened. You see how the Earth has just completely changed. Every single aspect of the Earth has changed. All of the animals, all the plants, all the people, and it's all basically monsters and just bio crazy things. I love this, and I wasn't initially going to pick it up, but I remember a lot of people in the previews video said I'm definitely getting it. It's definitely going to be a great read, and I thought, you know what, it's a new series from Image, why would I not grab it? And thank you everyone that commented about Nocterra. It was totally worth it. So let me know what you thought about this one down low, and let's do a recap. So what do you guys think of these last couple new comic book days? I thought overall last week had way better books. If I was specifically just doing this week for March 3rd, I think I only ended up picking up 6 books, maybe 5, but they were all right. Last week had way better books in my opinion. But let me know down low in the comment section what your favorite issue was of both weeks. So thank you for watching my video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And if you don't want to miss out on any of my upcoming content, hit that subscribe button down low and the little bell to get notified every time I drop new content. You won't regret it. And I've got 2 more videos sitting off to the side here with more of my comic book content. Click on one of those and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.